Good evening. Hello. Welcome. Another talk with Miss Ruth. And I'm waiting for some folks to join. But I can say this: we're here today to continue what I love doing, and that is saying things that I know for sure, about everyday living with, take these off, what we know about everyday living with clarity, honesty, and down to earth truth. Because this thing that we call life offers us so many ways to show up and to be who we are in our best self. That's what I come here, that's what I love doing. Tonight, we're going to talk about the power of habit and how 66 days builds a habit. There's a book, it's a book I read many years ago. The title of it is The Power of Habit. It was written by a man named Charles, gotta look over here, D-U-H-I-G-G, Duhigg, Charles Duhigg, The Power of Habit. What it means in everyday life and in business. Now, that sounds like a pretty deep talk, pretty deep topic. What it means and what I took away from it is habit can work for you and it can work against you. Learning, being self-aware, being able to read life. Some situations they call it EQ, emotional intelligence, are just social skills. When we are developing our life approach to life in our homes, in our families, in our schools, we start to develop things that we feel most comfortable with. The kind of people, places we live, foods we eat, entertainment that we enjoy, how we dress, just the things that begin to define who we are and that begin to shape our comfort zone. Our comfort zone, how we show up. And Miss Ruth talks about trying new ideas about who you are or living things about who you are that you've not explored or given yourself permission to introduce to other people. So the power of habit can keep us in that box. What the book did that opened it up for me as a therapist and a coach, there were some examples of athletes. I learned very well about human behavior from watching coaching of elite athletes. And there's one scenario that talked about how a coach sees your gift, sees your skills, knows your potential even more than you do, because you and your habits, you do it the way you've always done it. You get accolades because you do it the way you do it. And what the coach observes is there are situations where you create risk for yourself and liability for your teammates, and maybe losing in the game or in life because you are resistant to learning new habits. What can happen when you're stuck in the way you do it and who I am? Situations come up that may be what you really want. Maybe the opportunity you've been praying for, but you start feeling anxiety. You have some fear, and you start to say things and do things that your habitual response under stress. And that may not be anything like what the moment needed from you. So the power of habit, and what Miss Ruth Wisdom talks about often, is in those situations where you are feeling some stress. I use the word intentionally. When you're feeling some kind of way that you might even not be able to put a name on, you miss the opportunity when you're in your feelings to do things to calm yourself, to look at what's going on, and to move through the feelings. When I added to my title for tonight, the 66-day rule, that's because science tells us now that if we practice for 66 days, those things we want to be better at, those opportunities to handle situations that come up maybe often, and we want to get to another point with them. The 66-day rule says, make a commitment to do this thing, this action, say these words consistently for 66 days. It will become a habit. A habit is a behavior that is normal, routine, automatic. So let's look at a couple examples of what is she talking about. We could go with a real simple one, and it is making the bed every day. I know there's some of you who don't make your bed every day, and you're cool with it. Being cool with it may not be cool with your partner, who likes to come into a bedroom with a well-made bed. Now, for some couples, this isn't an issue. I'll give you some other examples. But if you made, because of the desire to improve your relationship, a commitment that for 66 days, you're going to make up the bed because there's an objective, there's a goal for you. Your emotional intelligence tells you that I would have a happy partner if I would make up the bed. Got me? Here's another one. You have to do certain things every day, go certain places every day. In your home, there's the same people every day. One of the things that I did with couples when I was doing a lot of couples counseling was make a statement of gratitude and appreciation every day. Every day, say something like, I'm so glad you're home. Thank you for making the coffee. I like the way you smell when you come out of the shower or when you're out and about. You see someone who has a beautiful smile and you say, "You have a lovely smile." Or you see someone who has just done something really, really kind for someone else. You approach them and you say, "That was really kind what you just did." Every day, do something consistently that is a goal. All of those things that I just said, as you know, Miss Ruth is always going to tell you to start with low hanging fruit. What is the low hanging fruit? In the first one, it's like, wow, if I made up my bed, maybe she'd stop fussing at me. Or maybe when we go to bed, I wouldn't see that sour face. If communicating with people in your household has gotten kind of stale, kind of repetitive, what about giving people compliments? What about recognizing to yourself the good that's in your life, the positives that are all around you that you take for granted? And when it comes to strangers, offering someone a kind word that says, "I see you," human to human. I see you. Something that I do because I like to smile is, and it has science in it, but I like to smile. And that is to smile. Smiling, looking at someone and smiling creates endorphins. It increases dopamine. Smiling, giving the energy of a smile. And if you do it enough, the muscles in your face, they just feel better. You feel better. Smiling and laughing is even more great. But smiling at someone else is a gift. It's a gift that says, "I see you. I see you. Hello." That's it. Keep it moving. This is a Miss Ruth thing. I laugh each time I think about it. So I was in Whole Foods last week, and there was this man, very good looking, tall black man, kind of grayish hair. And he said, "You're really a pretty woman," or "You're a nice looking sister," something like that. And then he said, "Oh, I'm not trying to hit on you or nothing." And I said, "Honey, at this stage, I appreciate being hit on. It's a nice thing. Makes me feel good." I laughed, I gave him a dap, and we kept on going. But having conversations with strangers in these days and times, with all that's going on around us, a smile, a kind word, practicing doing it gives good vibes to you, and it spreads light. It spreads light out into the universe. So the 66-day rule, I would say all of us have something we want to do better. Let's just say our health. Let's just assume, which I think I can, all of us need to drink more water. All of us need to drink more water. Our body is mostly water. It needs us to fuel it with water. When when people tell me I don't drink water because I don't like water, I go, well, I wonder what the body inside of her is thinking. Whoa, wonder what's going on in there. When you have something that simple, that's low hanging fruit. That's low hanging fruit. You say to yourself, for instance, all of the glasses in my house are too small. I'm going to only drink out of this size container. I'm only going to drink out of this size container because it gets me 2.5 cups. Sometimes it's tea. Sometimes I must admit it's Coke Zero, but that's the thing I'm working on eliminating. But what it does do, as you practice, as you hold yourself accountable, as you pick low hanging fruit, you begin to see automatically. Now, some people might say, okay, Ruth, but I like this beverage, I like that beverage, I like this beverage. Orange juice, of course, they say is the thing to eliminate because it's got a whole lot of sugar. But you can make your goal to be within so many days. I'm going to replace some of the no beverages and add some of the more health enhancing beverages. That can be part of your moving toward your objective, part of your 66-day plan. The goal is for it no longer to become a decision and an effort, for it to become a habit, something you do, something that, as my throat gets dry, I always have it. Within arm's reach. Always within arm's reach. So these are the ways. When I say low hanging fruit, I'm going to ask you to think about situations in your everyday life. Everyday life. Not things we're not ready, and it's not necessary. And I'll come back to that. Take those things that are right there that you've been thinking about. You just needed to come up with, how am I going to do it? And when am I going to do it? Take this time with Miss Ruth to go to the next step. What is it going to be? What is it that's around me every day that's really easy and where I'm going to practice doing it differently? I'm going to practice doing it differently. That's low hanging fruit. That's consistent practice. This is what I'm going to say now about the big issues. The big issues, it's like when you're starting a routine of walking and you walk so many steps and you look at your monitor. I've walked this many steps today. I'm going to walk many more steps tomorrow. Now, I have to tell you, I'm in Atlanta, you guys. There are a lot of people who walk Stone Mountain. Stone Mountain happens to be a goal that other people choose. I like to walk in nature. I don't do a whole lot of hills, but I will. So be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Now here's a caveat. Here's something to avoid. Because a lot of times when you tell people what your 66-day goal is, habit is, somebody that you know says, I want to do that with you. Like the Daniel fast. I know some people, that's a fast for enlightenment and for time of prayer and meditation. Uh, and somebody says, oh, I'm going to do it with you. Or I'm going to start walking 3 miles a day. And your neighbor or your partner says, I'm going to do it with you. That's fine, as long as you are going to do it whether they come or not. What happens and what can be a great roadblock to your 66-day plan is your accountability partner can't do it today. Could we do it Friday? And you say, cool. And they said, well, Friday really isn't going to work. And you didn't do it today. So you've missed what you had committed to for yourself because you let your goal get infiltrated, I'm going to use that word, by other people who want to be with you and want to do what you want to do. But things happen. So those kinds of sabotaging situations are things to think about before you agree to an accountability partner. Now, a way that an accountability partner can be really helpful would be someone who you check in with and you say, I did it. I hit my goal this week. And they know what it means to you and they celebrate with you. Or after 33 days, you have a celebration with that person and they see and they acknowledge with you the accomplishment. That's an accountability partner from my point of view. You have to look at and make sure that you are the one who's holding yourself accountable. And it's the consistency and the practice that makes it become reality. Let me go a little bit deeper now into the brain science behind building a new habit. The brain loves opportunities to think and to provide you with those hormones, those feel-good hormones, those motivation hormones, those hormones that come with finishing and relaxing. The brain loves doing that for you. The brain also loves to learn. That's what it's here for. Some parts of it is automatic because it knows what the organs need. But there's a part of your brain, the cells in your brain, that get revitalized when you do new things, learn new things. And as we age, now I'm going to shift a little bit to talk about some people who may be hearing me who are over 60. I want those of you who are under 60 to listen because you're going to be there someday and because you likely have people around you who are older than you. And that is, it becomes more of a challenge to do new things because our habits become more ingrained. And the opportunities that come from being out in the mix, out in the world, those opportunities are not as frequent. So we have to create them for ourselves. As we age, more things stop, more things end. And the responsibility to bring new things in, they come from your creative effort. And your brain loves it. Your brain says, thank you very much. I really needed that. You really got so much more going on up in this head that I would like to help you work with. But all you do is sit around and talk to Sally Joe or Mr. Bob or watch those shows. I know you got a lot of medical appointments and you're concerned about that, but really, Really? Could we use our brain for more? For more? So that I can show you some things about this time in your life that you're only going to encounter if you stay active and if you keep me, your brain, working at its optimal. We might forget a name every now and we might go into a room and forget why we're there. But we usually eventually find out why we're there. The name comes to us and we keep it moving. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of being a modern elder, is that you start to figure out the techniques, the tips, the resources to keep doing you, the part of you that doesn't have to slow down and stop just because. For me, I'll be 83 in October. Can I tell you something that happened? I was at this outdoor concert on the 4th of July, and a young lady sitting in front of me came over and she said, "You remind me of my great grandmother." And I go, she must have been a really lovely lady. Receive those times when people comment on whatever your elder status means to them with honoring yourself. Honor yourself. Honor the beauty of who you are and the beauty of who you're becoming and the beauty of your being willing to take on new skills, to try new adventures. You see, I'm playing around with my hairstyle, right? I have this saying, you have to get old, but you don't have to get ugly. And I play with it. Hey, I play with being me. I play with showing up as me. And I talk about it with you because that's why I came here. That's truly what I know is my gift, is to tell others and to share with others how to do this thing called life. So what I'm going to ask of you is give you some homework. I'm going to ask you to find that thing in your life, that low-hanging fruit, and come up with the one-liners. We practice one-liners in almost every one of my Miss Ruth Wisdom sessions. It's time for us to get beyond the head conversation and get into the action. Get into being you, enjoying doing you, and then stepping back and reflecting on it, because it's low-hanging fruit, people. Most of the time, nobody else knows. If somebody else knows, it doesn't matter because it wasn't that deep. You will find that as that happens, you will take on the deeper, the more, I'm sorry, I keep hitting on the table. You'll find that you take on some of the fruit that's higher up in the tree that requires you to climb, to reach, to stretch. But you have practiced climbing, reaching, and stretching. So you're good out on those limbs. And you're also good climbing back down to your baseline. Okay? Let me put on my glasses real quick and see if I got any questions or comments here that I might speak to. Melody said, picking up my water now. The Blue Fairy says, preach. All right. Okay. Noel is here, my faithful brother-in-law. I love it. All right, guys. That's it. That's us. That's Talk for Miss Ruth. Follow me. And if you have any questions or comments, send me a email at Miss Ruth Wisdom. That's MS Ruth Wisdom at gmail.com. Thank you. And be well. See you in 2 weeks.